Five, four, three, two, one. Contact. All right. Welcome to I think I call this the Wonton Wednesday podcast. Yes, okay. So that's what we're doing. Jonny Iuro from Airframes and Hydraulics, the fucking man, the myth, the legend, and also a aspiring Fear Factory guitarist.
I'll take it. I'll definitely take it.
You're not brown enough to be Dino Cazares, but you have the hair and beard.
I even got a kitty rocking out with a guitar T-shirt. I'm all about that life.
Hell yeah! That's only be better if that kitty was playing the band Kitty.
Yeah.
What was their one song? Brackish?
Oh, I'm not too sure.
I'm pretty sure that was it. They're still making music.
It's insane.
Good for them.
Some of these bands that you thought they were just going to be like a fizzle pop, like 30 years later, still doing stuff. Yeah.
Who would have thought 4 female Canadians would still be rocking 20 years later?
Yeah.
And what is Avril Lavigne doing? Letting Canada down. She is a hero to them, though, I hear. So what's up, man? How you been? What you doing?
Well, full circle, went all the way back around, and now I'm working on the good old Osprey again, so didn't think that was ever going to happen.
Well, did you stay in for 5, or did you do an extra enlistment?
Just 5 and out. Yep.
What did you do after that?
After that, I went to an auto shop, my first job. Afterwards,
nice.
It sucked. Hated it. And I went to a vocational school. Got some certs and stuff like that. Then started working on industrial stuff like forklifts and everything. Hated that job. And then worked on 18-wheelers. Loved that one. But then somebody that I knew in the Marine Corps called me up, told me about, test and evaluation, how much they were doing. And, I was like, well, 5.5 years later, out of the Marine Corps, went back in and then started doing it all over again. Starting over with getting all my quals, like brake rider all the way up, As 30-year-old man, I was like, all right, time to go get my brake rider again. Yeah.
Might as well. What else are you going to do when you're working that job? You need to have brake rider, you need to have APU, and you need to have something else. There's at least a third. Brake rider, ape. Yeah, probably jack and cycle.
Yeah. And some GSC they would want.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Although you're not flight line, so you don't have to tow the bird really as much.
Well, actually, there's no distinction between flightline and airframes now. You're either a mech or avi.
What?
Yeah, my surprise. I thought I was going to go, to my nice composite room, be all itchy all the time. And they're like, nope.
I've actually been, bitching to people that it doesn't make sense the way the Navy Marine Corps does it, because in the civilian worlds, it's A&P, airframes and power plants. Mm-hmm. And hydraulics is a separate thing. So I'm like, it kind of just doesn't make sense. Like, why don't we do full A&P, and then it's more likely to cross over to the civilian world when you get out. And hydraulics is a totally separate shop. The Army actually does it completely different. They have airframe shop.
Yeah.
Power flight line shop, which is like power line or whatever the hell they call it, and then a hydraulic shop. And the hydraulic shop is like 2 people.
Yeah, you don't need many. Yeah,
it's like, where do you work? I've never seen you before. Oh, hydraulics. I was a civilian contractor on 47s for about 3 months, and I went, I can't do this. Yeah. Like, the only reason I lasted 3 months is because it was my brother's hangar, So I was like, I got to see my brother every day, and I'm like, well, this is cool. And then I was just like, I can't do this. And I was on Fort Campbell, and I was like, man, there are so many people here, right? Like, it's places like just super busy. It's like Jacksonville on steroids. He's like, dude, it's not even that bad right now.
Yeah.
The 101st, the entirety of it is deployed. And I'm like, all right, I have to leave. It's going to get worse than this. Fuck this.
Yeah, at least I'm like on a base that is mainly civilian. There's very minimal like Navy and stuff like that. So it's not like a military town. It is, but it isn't, you know.
No, I totally get that. Like, I travel for work, so I'm all over the fucking place. Currently in Anchorage, working on an Air Force base, and like, if you didn't live around here, you wouldn't know there was an Air Force base here.
It's so quiet.
Like, well, no, like you can hear planes all the time. Like, and if you're us, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
a military jet sounds like. But if you're like, and this is a big tourist area, like, that's an understatement, especially this time of year where it's not 10 feet of snow.
Wow.
That's not a joke. I got like over 120 inches this year. And a lot of it melts pretty fast, though. So it's kind of weird. It's like, we got 120 inches. And like, you're looking around and you're like, where'd it go? Like, if you're me, you're like, doesn't it normally stick when you get like more than a foot? But there's some weird things going on. Like, you know, some of it comes early and some of it comes late in the year, and it does like melt a lot. But like when I got here in February, I think there was like 3 or 4 feet on the ground. And then the snowbanks were even higher, as you can imagine. But so yeah, like, you know, like the military jets, they're like off on the north side of town by like the base, and then they go fly around over the mountains and stuff. But if you don't know what that noise is, you're like, oh, it sounds like something loud. And then you just think it's probably coming from the airport, which is over on the west.
That's cool. Traveling around, going to different places and stuff like that, working on stuff.
It is.
I personally did not like being a field service mechanic and even like bopping around in different areas. I like having my toolbox in one place. Me personally.
It's cool, but it's not.
Yeah.
So like, you know, Monday to Friday, I know where I'm going to like a place. And then like, you know, the weekend I'm back at home. That's like normal schedule. Yeah. Like this one, since I'm so fucking far away, literally the other side of the continent. It's like,
yeah,
go work there for 2 weeks. It's like, okay, I'll go work there for 2 weeks. And then I get 1 week off and like, I go deal with my life for 1 week. And I'm like, sweet. So it's a nice setup for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely can't complain. But, you know, I know it'll end and I'll go back to my Monday to Friday and then I'll have my weekend off. Do my Monday to Friday, have my weekend off and just fucking continue that grind. And it's cool because, like, you know, in Anchorage, it's a little bit exotic. It's pretty cool. Caught a salmon.
Nice.
I don't even fish. I caught a dream fish for like 90% of fishermen.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest fucking thing. Yeah, and then I don't know where the fuck I was. I already forgot what I was saying because I got sidetracked thinking about that fish.
It was that funny. Not good.
Most delicious salmon I've ever had in my life. I think I got like 9.6 pounds out of it, like, because they measured it because they had to fucking mail it back to my house, or my girlfriend's house more accurately. So I took like 1 pound of it, like 1.5 pounds, and I gave it to my buddy that I'm working with because he's the one that told me, like, get a charter, salmon season, like all this stuff. And he's a cool guy. He retired as a Chicago cop, like on the special tactics division. Great guy. I like him. So I hooked him up. I'm like, here, you haven't caught a fish yet. I'm like, try this. And like, delicious fucking salmon. I go home. My girlfriend's like, never liked salmon, but you're a good cook. So, you know, just make it. So I did the like maple syrup and like some spices.
Yeah.
Fucking most magnificent fish ever. She's like, this doesn't even taste like fishy, like a fucking. You've had like store bought salmon, and it's like really salmony and fishy.
Yeah, that the farm raised salmon that they actually have to put like color in it so it looks appetizing, pretty much.
Yeah, the orange stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and this one was just like almost this shirt fucking red, like
Oh yeah, it was deep red.
deep red, like it just fucking engorged itself on krill for 4 years.
Yeah.
Because it pretty much did.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. I don't know. And it was just like, my God, that was fucking amazing. So, you know, like we ate it twice that 1 week that I was home, and it was just fucking fantastic. I tell you, the way to go. Maple syrup and Cajun seasoning.
That's the secret.
That was the one that I liked the most so far, but I mean, you know, I'm going to try the butter garlic one, and I'm probably not going to be disappointed by that either.
Yeah. I mean, everything tastes good with garlic, my personal opinion.
I mean, I think I was just having the conversation again. It was either yesterday or 2 days ago with my sister about garlic bread. Because we were talking about cursed objects and how it's the only thing you can't pay me with that can't be cursed.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, well, you probably don't know this, but like my grandma's way of making it was like, you know, she made it fully, and then like right before she put it in, she blessed it 3 times. So in order to cook garlic bread correctly, you can't curse it. You have to bless it.
Oh, I did not know that.
Well, that's my grandma's thing. So that's the traditional recipe. I do not do things traditionally, though. I may or may not bless it, depending on which day and how I feel. But I definitely mess with the levels of garlic that she used.
How was her level?
Extra garlic is key. It was good. It was not too much, not too little. It was a very good ratio. Can't complain. So, like, she'd get the loaf of the Italian bread, slice it up, you know, spread the garlic butter paste on there, and then put it in the oven so everyone gets a slice, and it's all on every piece. It's not like the one people like layer it over the top. Oh, also sliced olives stuffed with pimentos in it.
Oh yeah, I'm about that too.
So it's like extra fucking salty.
I'm about that.
Oh my God, it's fantastic. And I will die on that hill, is that it's superior to just regular garlic butter. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah,
this concludes my TED Talk. All right, so you're working for the Navy now.
Yeah, civilian contractor for the Navy test wing on the Osprey. Yep. The day-to-days. No longer a mechanic. I'm in QA now. So most of my time is spent doing dumb stuff, paperwork and answering questions. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds pretty awesome.
I mean, I got to do some pretty good things. I got to go on
do you ever
this aircraft carrier called Chessie Puller, of course, and it was like it was half civilian, half merchant marine kind of thing, or half Navy, half merchant marine kind of thing, and it was really cool. It had like this real big open part to it where it actually would it would actually sink in a little bit and have like the hovercrafts coming in and out of it, and then it would, rise back up again. So I had to fly on that. The way I got off of that boat is they threw a Jacob's ladder over the side of it, just crawled down, got into like a speedboat, and had like a half hour like bing 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 speedboat ride to the shore, and they got picked up in a bus. I was like, dude, that's pretty cool for a job, having that.
Did you feel like a 1990s special ops movie where you're like, we gotta get off the barge, it's gonna blow? Like, I would have been saying shit like that.
I'm a dreamer, so my imagination was going all kinds of places. I love it, I felt like a badass, the same way. Of course, yeah.
The only way it could have been better is if you were speed roping off.
Yeah. Zip lining off.
Oh, fuck. How would you do that onto a speedboat from a gator freighter? Because it's not a carrier.
Yeah, I've been to some other places too, and I still get to ride in them every once in a while, which I know that's some things that a lot of people miss. Getting in right in the back of the military aircraft kind of thing, and going to places, doing little debts again.
Yeah.
Debts are fun. I still get to do debts and stuff, so that's pretty fun.
But do you have to deal with DTS?
What's that?
DTS, Defense Travel System? Do you have to deal with that nightmare still?
No, not really. It's pretty easy to get everything done. A lot of times I just would bring back receipts and, they would, replenish. Sometimes I got an advance. Sometimes, I didn't have to claim everything. Sometimes I did have to claim everything. And now I have just a company travel card now, that we get different credit cards and stuff like that. So it's really easy to just go in there and click that you're going away. So it's really not a nightmare at all. Going right through our portal, the portal that we use to
yeah, that's good.
Clock in and everything else, and do the annual training and everything else we do. You have to watch the million cybersecurity things every single year and everything else like that.
Cybersecurity, sexual harassment,
yes,
driving. That's one I got to do for work.
You got to do a driving one, yeah.
It's basically just reread the company policy and submit that we can run a background on your driving thing every year to make sure you don't have was it 2 speeding violations?
Okay, so 2 moving violations.
Nah, speeding I think is the one they're really worried about.
Speeding, yeah, whenever I was a field service mechanic and I had a van and stuff like that, that's what they cared about was, speeding tickets and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it affects their insurance that they're covering you under for the company vehicles, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then probably have another one that I got to do that I don't think about, but a lot of it is more just job focused, here's how you don't die.
Yeah. Which is always a good thing.
Which reminds me, I have to do the voiceover for this PowerPoint slide for arc flash and fire extinguishers.
You're gonna do a voiceover to PowerPoint?
They asked me to, and I'm like, sure.
Oh, okay. How creative are you gonna be with it?
I'm pretty much just gonna read the slides.
Okay.
I've thought about giving it a 1980s safety video voice, but arc flash and fire protection. Know your limits.
Yeah.
Or just doing making it ridiculous like that. Not saying my name at all at the beginning of it, and just all right, here you go, and giving it back to them. We got a new safety guy this year. He just retired after 20 years in the Air Force, and he was a refueler, guy in the back on a refueler.
Okay.
So he's a cool guy, and for the first, and I was working at the warehouse when he started, and for 2 days he's just kind of this guy is weird. I am. And then the warehouse manager, me and him are pretty good friends, and he's an Army veteran, and he just goes, Steve's a jarhead. The other guy, he's just oh, that explains so much, and we've got along ever since.
Yeah. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yep. And then he's like, what'd you do in the Marines? I'm like, I worked on an aircraft, airframes and hydraulics. He's like, oh, that's cool. What one? Because he's like, I've refueled everything. I'm like, yeah, you ever refueled an Osprey? He goes, fuck that piece of shit. And I go, I mean, we earned it.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. We're so needy. Everywhere the Osprey goes, it's so needy. It needs everything. It needs special treatment. I would be get that thing out here too. I understand.
Well, also, I never had to deal with any of that because I got out 2008. So, I think the second deployment ever had just happened. So there was
Mine.
Yes, you were with 162?
I was 266. Oh, never mind. I was third. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was 162 was the. Yeah, it's 263, then 162. Yeah.
Yep, Screaming Eagles, because that was Danny and Pumphrey and Brown. I know that they went on that one. And then 162, I forget what they were, and then your unit.
Yeah, the 266, the Fighting Griffins.
Which actually looks like a griffin.
Yeah, we left in September of 08.
Yeah, so I had just gotten out before then. Yeah, so yeah, that would have been the third.
Did you EAS or did you take terminal?
I took terminal, so I got out. So my EAS would have been July. They let me take a month. I wanted to take 2. But they're like, no, you can only do a month and then we'll pay you for the rest. I'm like, damn it. But okay, cool. So I got out in June.
I EAS'd. I went to the last day and sold back all my vacation days. I knew I was going to go back in. I knew I was going to go back in the military. So 72 days, they bought it back. And it was funny too. Like, my last day was a Saturday. And I had to wait around at like the IPAC to get my DD-214, and the people were like 3 hours late. So I was like, oh, figures my last day is just like this, Saturday coming in, get my DD-214. And it was wrong too. And I'd said like the things were wrong on it. They're like, like my shooting awards and stuff like that were wrong. They're like, well, you're going to have to stay in to like fix this stuff. I was like, I just got out. Like, it was just like it was just like the top, like, military kind of left a bad taste in my mouth because, like the time I was in was like weird. Like whenever I finally picked up corporal, like everyone was like a sergeant and staff sergeant. So I was like always the lowest guy on the totem pole. I never really had a whole lot of, I was like always in like the crap the whole time. So it just made sense that even the last day was shitty.
I mean, I didn't have a bad time, but I also got out as a corporal after 5 years, and I was quite happy that I never made sergeant, because if I made sergeant, I would have seriously thought about staying in.
Yeah.
So I and I've actually thought about that. I'm like, man, if I would have made sergeant, I would have thought about it. Like, it would have been like a serious thought in my head to like, maybe I should, maybe this won't be as bad. And I was just like, yeah, good thing I never made sergeant. But like, getting out as a corporal, I was just like, huh. Yeah, I made the right choice.
I mean, you already would have been 20 years.
I definitely would have been.
Because I'm coming up on mine.
Well,
supposedly, if I stayed in 20-year mark.
So Ozcan just got out last year, and like I think he was only like 2 weeks behind me in boot camp. Like his start date, whatever.
Yeah,
it was also in July, but his was late July, whereas mine was mid. So, I mean, yeah, like if I would have stayed in, I would have definitely had my 20 years by now.
Mm-hmm.
But also, aircraft maintenance wasn't my passion. I had an open contract. Like, I didn't really want to be there. I was there because I scored high enough on the ASVAB that they're like,
I was open as well.
This kid, so was Farva. Where like this kid's mechanically gifted, we can make him a mechanic, and hey, look, this thing needs it. It's just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I always say like I loved working on trucks. I absolutely adored working on like 18-wheelers. I was going to do that for the rest of my life. I loved that job. Working on aircraft pays more.
This is true. You remember Bammer from Flightline?
No. Wait, who?
Bammer?
No.
Graham? Tommy Graham? Big dude.
No, I'm sorry.
If you saw him, you'd remember him.
Probably.
Because, he's just a big, friendly dude from Alabama. But, yeah, he worked on trucks for a while, and then he's been doing it for so long, he's now in charge of the logistics of it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, that's fucking cool. But also, it's good for him that he is no longer wrenching, because last time I talked to him, it wasn't the last time, but it was a while ago. He was having like carpal tunnel issues from like fucking holding wrenches and stuff for so long.
Oh yeah, it hurts still, but I'd rather work on the machine than not. Which kind of sucks though that they took that part away, and now QA like only going out there and putting your hands on stuff every once in a while. Most of the time it's paperwork, but I'd still much rather be the one, because I was a good mechanic. I still much rather be a mechanic. To me,
I just like having a job where I'm outside the majority of the time. Get to breathe the fresh air, see the sun. I had a porcupine walk by me yesterday. I was so excited. I'm still excited.
I would be.
It's like I can pull up to the site, and like I'm going to get out. I'm like, there's a fucking porcupine right there. I'll send you the picture of it, because I took a picture. I'm like, oh my god, it's a porcupine. And I'm just like, can these things shoot needles, or do you just like not touch the needles? I don't know. Either way, I'm just like, oh, porcupine friend, porcupine.
I'd be stoked, because I've never seen one in real life either. Aren't they pretty big? Wasn't it pretty decent size?
I mean, I'd say like the actual like body of the thing was probably like the size of like a Jack Russell, but then like with all the quills coming off of it, they look so much bigger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's got so
like,
much more reach, yeah.
Maybe a raccoon is a better size indicator, because like it kind of had like that like chunky loose skin look to it when it was walking.
Yeah, that chunk body, yeah.
But that's the only porcupine I've seen alive in the wild. I saw one as roadkill once back home. Like it was just in the middle of the road and it was just taken out. And I was just like, it's fucking porcupine. And then I've seen like one in like this weird zoo. I'm using loose air quotes for zoo. That was in the woods in Pennsylvania. And it looked like somebody went in their backyard and just found animals, except for the wolves. They obviously had to get those shipped in from somewhere, because they're not native to Pennsylvania, at least eastern Pennsylvania where I was. And it was just like, okay.
Just captured animals in a pen. Yeah.
But there was a porcupine there. Pretty much. And then like this porcupine was just like in its little like caged in fenced area. And it's just like holding onto the fence area and then just like shimmying back and forth. And it looked like it was doing this dance. So I started calling it the porcupine dance.
It's kind of depressing though.
I literally felt bad for that porcupine. Like, because he can just like look through the fence and be like, I belong over there. What am I doing in this cage? And like, it's like, literally poultry netting and 2x4s holding the fucking porcupine in. And I'm just like, did you just like catch this in your backyard? Like, what the fuck? Is this a real zoo? I want to see a permit.
Well, I've been to like a park zoo that they had zoo in the name too, but it's a pretty much a rehabilitation center for animals that can't ever be released ever again. Like there's like an eagle, like a bald eagle there that can't ever be released for some reason. I don't know why. But there was also like a pen with this tortoise, and all this tortoise does is just walk the circle. So there's like that path that's just like worn out. And every single time you go there, he's just walking that circle. It's depressing. I don't know why you can't let a tortoise loose.
Maybe there's something wrong with it.
Yeah. I know, it just keeps walking in a circle all the time, and I thought that was a depressing zoo. I only went there one time.
I went to the Anchorage Zoo here, and like they have like a thing like on all of the animals, like explaining them and where they came from.
Yeah.
And so like the ones that were born in captivity and never knew the wild, I get that. Like they wouldn't know what the fuck to do. Like they might have some instincts, but they're not going to have all of them. And then there's like a lot of the birds at the zoo here are like injured in such a way where they can't be released. Yeah. They also, I watched them feed the baby black bears, and they used canned whipped cream.
That's adorable.
Apparently, baby black bears love canned whipped cream, and I'm like, well, so do I. Maybe I'm a baby black. Yeah.
We're all baby black bears.
Yes, we are. So, what else have you been up to in life?
Well, still play music for hobby. You know, that's always fun. I'm actually in like
for love of the game, not for money.
Oh yeah, I did a little musician thing in Chicago in like 2012 ish. I was doing some stuff. I actually wasn't working. All I was doing music. I wasn't wrenching for a little while, and I did that. But that doesn't pay the bills too well. It was just a fun little, check it off the bucket list kind of thing. Downplaying it a little bit, but it's fun to do. It's something I always wanted to do.
I don't blame it.
But it's not even the type of music I even listen to. It was like a folk kind of thing. I was like, it's not even like metal music. So, but hey, it's what was drawing crowds at the time too, But I've always played acoustic guitar. I always loved playing acoustic guitar. That's what I started doing. And I always do like the finger picking style. So a lot of it kind of, can have a country, turn to it with just, whoever's with you. Someone starts singing a country-ish like twang. All of a sudden it sounds country. Someone does another instrument, bam, you got, so pretty fun to do. Even though I wouldn't ever listen to the music myself.
Oh, that's totally understandable. But I mean, I think most guitarists start on acoustic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's also completely a normal thing.
I started on a 12-string acoustic, actually.
Oh, my God. That's even better.
Yeah. So, I mean, my dad, he's a musician. So he's a very, very good guitar player. So he taught me 4 chords on a 12-string acoustic. It was actually the chords for the Monkey song Stepping Stones.
Nice.
So they're just big cowboy chords, and it's a pretty decent strum pattern to get down, kind of hard, and it's a fast change kind of thing. And that really, took off from what I was doing because I never took lessons or anything else like that. So it was kind of my only little formal training was sitting down with a huge 12-string acoustic guitar, playing these big old cowboy chords.
Could you even
and over again
get your arm over it?
Yeah. And the neck is so thick too.
Everyone loves a good thick neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. No, I'm surprised you didn't start laying it down on your lap and playing it slide guitar style.
Yeah. I do. I got this little stupid thing where I could put it into acoustic guitar and play slide stuff like that. I play all these string instruments. I got a banjo I can play. I got mandolins I know how to play. Ukuleles. If it has strings and stuff, I know how to play it. At least, jam around with it and stuff like that. I got a piano over here and a drum set too. So I've always just loved playing music a lot.
I do too, but I also don't have as much time as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I've changed the strings on my bass in a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to know the cool thing I've recently discovered online on Amazon? It is an upright electric.
Yes.
I'm like,
I'm about it.
I'm like, oh, I need all the time in the world to play that. I would just go ahead.
Fortunately, I do have time, and I always make time for music because I started playing music when I was 9 years old. So, and I'm 39 now. So it was actually this summer of '94 was when I started playing guitar.
It's now the summer of 24, and you know what that means. Yep. The world's gonna end.
30 years.
Oh,
what's that?
You were gonna do math. But they've been saying the world's going to end forever.
I'm surprised it hasn't.
I'm not. No, like, humans are like cockroaches. We'll never end.
Yeah.
Until the sun explodes. And by that point, we're probably going to be off of this planet. Like, we'll find another one. And then another one. We'll reach out to the stars. It's going to happen unless...
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to be multiplanetary soon.
I mean, in cosmic scales soon, yes. Not in lifetime.
Yes, that's what I meant. Not like, next week or anything, yeah.
Like, do I think it'll happen in our lifetime? No. Do I think it'll happen?
It could. It could.
Yeah. You're right, it could.
Because when did they plan to actually send somebody to Mars? That's kind of coming.
I mean, yeah, it's coming up, but also Mars is going to be a hard place to colonize. We're going to have to actually colonize. I mean, you could colonize there, but it's not a good long-term strategy.
Oh yeah, it's
like a better long-term.
It's not an easy feat, and there's definitely going to be massive failures and everything like that. But
well, it can't hold an atmosphere.
No,
that's like the first problem.
Yeah, they're all. Yeah, it's going to be like that, like the little dome cities and stuff like that you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Have you? Well, you don't have Apple.
No.
There's a great show on Apple TV called For All Mankind, and the basic premise of it is it starts off in the space race in the '60s, and it's an alternate reality show. The Russians made the moon first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all...
like an alternate timeline thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's an alternate timeline, but it starts off with that. The Russians land on the moon and all the effects afterwards of what that causes. And so...
yeah, because they won everything then.
Yeah, like that was like... well, in space race terms, we went on the moon first and then just declared ourselves the winner. But
yeah, well, we lost the first person in,
everything else.
The first satellite. We lost everything else, but that was the only thing we were first at. Yeah,
first satellite, first animal, first woman, everything we lost, and then we just went to the moon first and said, well, we're the winners.
Yep,
we won. They were also the first ones to get a spaceship to orbit the moon.
Yeah,
but we landed on it. So yeah, it starts with the Russians doing that. So basically, we keep trying to race the Russians. So the space race never ends.
Oh, okay. It just keeps on growing exponentially.
Yes. And like stuff like that. So like one of the other things is like, since the space race isn't ending, Russia never goes to war with Afghanistan in the 80s, which means we never fund the Taliban or whoever the hell it was. So like 9/11 never happens in this timeline. But like, so what am I, the third season? And they're colonizing Mars between Russia and the United States. And like, we get along, but they're still the Soviet Union, but we have a partnership with them.
Okay.
And private companies. And so, like, yeah, they're all living in, like, dome and underground and all sorts of, like, crazy stuff. And it's just like, man, that's no way to live. Yeah, so, like, but as a thought experiment, it's just, like, super fucking fun to think about. Like, that entire thing. Like, what if Russia did win the space race and we never stopped the space race?
I think about that kind of stuff like that too. What if this happened instead of that? Where would humanity be? Where would this be at? Where would technology be at? This kind of, especially like, I just watched all three of the Back to the Future movies again, so that really gets your mind thinking that kind of way too.
Have you ever, I haven't watched this, but I know the story kind of, The Man in the High Castle. It's on Amazon.
Oh, where Germany wins World War II or something like that? I know of that as well. And I've seen like teasers for it, and it looks pretty intense.
Oh, from what I hear, it is. I'm like, that looks really good. I'm gonna watch that eventually.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one too.
Yes, that whole alternate reality thing like will mess with you, but it's like, holy shit. Yeah, like, huh. Like that one actually will kind of freak me out to watch because I'm like, no, that's
Yeah,
not life,
it would have been.
but it would have been. It's like,
It was close too.
yeah. Yep. If it wasn't for American ingenuity and Russians' willingness to just sacrifice human beings.
Oh yeah. Oh, another thing I used to do is I've done a couple of Civil War reenactments. So the long hair and the beard.
That's cool.
The long hair and the beard kind of worked out well for that. I've done the Battle of Cedar Creek and also Shenandoah campaigns in 1864. I stayed around the 1864 era.
Were you north or south?
Whoever won the battle, because I am not falling. I'm staying at the end, so I've done both sides.
Nice.
I'm not falling down in no cow patties or anything like that. I'm like Nick Cage and Wind Talkers. I jump over stuff. I'm like the last guy. That's how I decide which one I'm going to do. Who won that battle? Yep, that's the side I'm playing.
Okay, so that reminds me. Fun ideas to do with a time machine. This is my fun idea I'd like to do with a time machine. I'd like to go back in time to the Revolutionary War with a red Honda dirt bike. Actually, it doesn't even matter if it's a Honda. It just has to be a red dirt bike. Like completely red kit on as much of it as humanly possible. I want a machine gun with as much ammunition as I can carry, and I want to be dressed like the devil.
Just blow everyone's mind in 1775.
Yeah, just like blowing minds literally with a machine gun, dressed as the fucking devil, just offing the British. Yeah. Just. But in reality, I probably don't have the balance for a dirt bike with a machine gun, so an ATV would work well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to quad it up, yeah.
Yeah. But I also have to, like, I'd need to, like, go back in time first and scout the area and see if I can actually, like, get through places, like, with a dirt bike or an ATV. Because, like, yeah, with a machine gun, I can reach out and touch them at ranges where they couldn't hit me with their muskets.
Mm-mm.
But then, I'd still have to, like, run away, because there's one of me and they can advance.
Yeah, there's still the battle of numbers. And then being surrounded in movements and stuff like that, and cavalry and everything else.
Yeah. I mean, but the only advantage I would have would be, psychological.
Technology. Yeah.
Well, little technology, a lot of psychological. But, like the devil made everyone just fall down with this farting noise.
Yeah.
And then he ran away on this horseless car.
Yeah, the psychological battle, don't even think about that. That would really mess them up, like, badly. Like,
yeah.
I could even imagine how messed up they would be. Like, how, crazy that would make them.
Well, then you have to think of the secondary effect, too, psychological for the Americans. They're like, the devil is on our side.
Didn't think about that one either.
Yeah.
You don't want to be on that side of history either.
That's where it starts falling off. Then it's just like, well, the devil is on our side. Are we on the right side? And then the revolution ends.
Yeah, I would instantly question that.
So then it becomes, okay, I have to do it at night, or I can just do it during the day. Black kit for everything, Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper one, that would take everybody out.
That would, too. But here's the other thing. do they know who the Grim Reaper was? Like, it is the same thing. Like, I'd have to like look back in mythology and like see when the Grim Reaper legend started. Like, because to us, the Grim Reaper's like, fuck yeah, the Grim Reaper, it's death, and so am I.
Yeah.
I'm the badass thing. But like, do they see the Grim Reaper, or is there just like, oh, there's just like a hooded figure with a scythe? Is he here to help with the hay?
Yeah, who's that vagabond that's coming our way,
What's that idiot doing? What is that strange contraption he's on and that thing that he's holding that's just shooting a little bit of fire at the end of it and everyone's just falling down? They've seen a gun before, so that probably wouldn't confuse them as much. They'd be like, wow, that thing just keeps going. Gotta get one of those. Yeah, so I don't know. What's the best course of action? What would you do with a time machine?
What would I do with the time machine? I think I would go forward in time, not backwards in time.
Okay.
And just be an observer, I wouldn't really want to even touch with the course of history, the butterfly effect thing. I think I just want to go and see answers, see how far along people went, what questions did they find the answers to? What do we think was right that we would look, how do they look at us upon history? Do they look upon us as, a retarded time in history? I think yes.
In all fairness, we look back at every time before us as a retarded time in history.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be any rose-colored lenses with us. They're not going to, it's going to be very brutal, harsh analyzation of what we did as a society collectively, what we accepted, what we thought and felt.
Have you seen like recent kids' history books about like the early 2000s, specifically the month of September in the year 2001, where it's just like a little fucking blurb where it's like,
yeah,
that's it? It's
yeah.
like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, no, let's go down this rabbit hole.
Yes.
Let's look at all like why this happened, what this is happening for, like what this, that, and the other is like, who did the funding for this? Like, there was so much more than just like some people were unhappy in Afghanistan and flew a tower into the building. It's like, no.
Yeah.
So not what happened.
No.
But yeah, like that's how history books are written. And once you like realize that and then realize like what you were taught, you're like, I have to go find out the real shit.
Well, I saw that, like I have a brother that's 15 years younger than me. And I was looking through his history book while I was still, I think I was out of the Marine Corps by then and working in Illinois. And I looked at the American Revolution, and that was only like a 2-page thing. But then they had like a huge page of like all these pop culture people and stuff like that. And I was like the American Revolution, you only have like 2 pages of it. There's so much to do. Like I had like a whole like I remember in school having like a whole like course about it. Like a dedicated time for it, and we learned about it quite extensively. Now it's just like it was changing then at the early 2010s about it's more about pop culture than actual like that old history that they didn't want to even like talk about. It was crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Like there were so many Schoolhouse Rock things, made about the American Revolution and stuff like that. So, they brought in the AV thing. You're like, yeah, we're going to watch some movies. And, I'm about the Schoolhouse Rock. I enjoyed that stuff. That's how I remember the preamble to the Constitution,
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's also how I learned how a bill becomes a law.
How it used to be.
How it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Theoretically, that's how it's supposed to go, where it's just like, interesting. Yep. But now, you got to get some corporate sponsors, got to grease some
That's it. Yeah.
palms. Yeah. You need a lobbying
The lobbyist. Yep.
firm. Did you know there's a marijuana lobby?
No, I did not.
There is. Which, when I first heard it, I went, what? And then I went, that makes sense, though.
Yeah, it does, though.
And then it's just like, wait a minute, but lobbyists are evil. Fuck. But does that mean weed's evil?
No, it just means that they can use it for evil and get some money for it, and that's all they really want is, extort money out of it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my friend was explaining it to me because, New York State legalized it. That, it was a weird way that it got legalized. It was not anything at all. But apparently the bill that went through was written by the marijuana lobby. Like, they flat out wrote it and handed it to the lawmakers.
Use this. Yep.
Here you go, buddy. Listen, you don't know anything about it. I know everything. Let me
just sign it. Don't even read. Just sign it.
Just sign that. They don't read anything anyways. I'm pretty sure they're like me and they can't read.
Yeah. Like when I bought my house and I was like at a lawyer's like office and like there's supposed to be all this stack of stuff. I'm like, yeah, here's 30 years. Yep. Didn't read any of it.
Should I read this? Now I read it for you.
Yeah.
Should I, like, the last time I read something, I was in the Marine Corps for 5 years. Like, you're fine. I'm sorry, the last time I didn't read something. And I just trusted someone and said, just sign here.
It wasn't. I enjoyed half the time, half the time I didn't.
It was a good 5 years, though. Yes, I'd say I enjoyed the people and my friends and the friendships I made and the learning experiences I had. I enjoyed the brainwashing for maybe the first year. After that, I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then a lot of the stupidity, I'm like, I could go without this. This would be so much cooler if, like, just more relaxed. Maybe a full beard instead of just a Hitler stash.
I did it. I did the Hitler stash. I did with the high fade.
I could never bring myself to grow
because I test the boundaries because I'm in regs. That didn't go over very well.
The 3-inch top of the hair length with a Hitler stash,
like the max, because you take your ID card and that's the length it could be. Yep.
Yeah. No, I remember that. I remember there was
but everybody at the end, low fade, just barely touched like the extremely low dirtbag fade. With you always rock the high and tight though.
It was high, but it wasn't tight. No. Like I just looked better with
a higher fade.
Yeah, like right now, this is actually a mohawk.
Yeah, I saw in your other video where you're talking about the
Leroy and Jason. Yeah.
I told you once this goes, you'll get a skullet.
Oh, sweet. Do you have a family history of going bald?
No, not really. But my brother's bald. I mean, everybody thins out a little bit. Like, how many percentage of men have some sort of like thinning or some sort of like hairline changing?
Your mother's father.
What's that?
Genetically, you get your hairline from your mother's father. I think you get it from.
Yeah, he died with a full head of hair. He had a flat top.
Probably like you'll thin out, but won't lose it entirely then, because that's the way my mom's dad was. So like it started doing this thing where it's coming back here. I'll probably have a pretty good widow's peak, but he had like the silver grayish flat top also, actually, now that I think about it.
Good look.
Oh. So hopefully I'll have my nice mullet mohawk in like silver gray someday.
Yeah.
Kind of like getting like annoyed by it like touching my neck back here, but I also kind of want to see how long I can get it. Where I'm just like,
oh yeah,
what can I do?
it is the first time I grew it out. It was definitely an experience because there's a lot of awkward long hair phases, like in between phases. So there's like a Lord Farquaad phase where like, you know, only shoulder length and it wants to like curl in and stuff like that. And then another length where right before you get there, you get like a ducktail in the back where the hair starts curling. Because I never grew my hair out before until like, you know, a few years before I even, you know, first year, 2014 is probably whenever the first time I had long hair. Or tried to.
Right now, it's in the phase where I keep thinking I have a tag sticking up from my shirt. Where I'm like, what is that?
Yeah,
oh, it's my hair.
The longer it gets, like I get the ones where like my hair's been so long before where I'm getting like tickles on my lower back when I'm sitting down. I'm just like, whoa, who's that?
When you say it like that, it sounds kind of pleasant, like somebody likes me.
Yeah, especially when my hair is wet too. You know, it definitely like gains more length and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wet and cold on a hot day, you just slap yourself with it, let you know you're still loved. Who was it? Fucking yeah! Last week, me and my girlfriend were like doing stuff, like setting up her yard and like making it fun for her niece and nephew. I was like, "Come play with me." We set up this kiddie pool, and I was like in it and down on all fours and like dip my head in it. Like, dude.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
I do the hair flips all the time at work, you know. I got to do the hot girl hair flips all the time.
So she took a picture of me doing it, trying to get an action shot, and it like caught at the wrong time, so it just kind of looks like I'm.
Yeah. Instead of that nice rainbowing arc, you're all like.
It just kind of looks like I'm like bowing to her.
Like this is a weird dynamic.
We're like, so yeah, there's an interesting dynamic going on with so and she like sent it to her sister and she's like, I swear he's not trying to worship me. I was like, maybe I am.
Yeah, it's a new cult.
The Cult of Joy. Oh, that's a good one.
That sounds like a cult. That actually sounds like a real fucking cult.
Oh my god. I'm gonna let her know we're still starting a cult in her honor. She owns a flower shop too. It's a perfect front.
Oh, and that. This is becoming something pretty nice. This is coming into a nice little story. Nice little joke for you.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. Maybe I don't know it, but I'm already in a cult.
Yeah, you never do know you're in a cult. Someone has to tell you you're in a cult. Did I just tell you you're in a cult?
Johnny, am I in a cult?
I don't know. It sounds like it. It definitely sounds like it.
Yeah. Definitely does. Well, it's a good thing I'm the only follower then. Yeah, I mean, I have to cook for the leader but I do that by choice. I think it's a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Yeah, I like my cult. It's better than not being in a cult.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it looks really nice. There's a beautiful leader that I get to look at. We have flowers and good food. And I know the food's not poison because I'm making it.
Yeah.
It's like the best of all cults. Yeah, now we just need.
Yeah, I don't think I need to intervene.
Please don't.
Yeah, we'll let this one run its course.
Yeah. If the ATF comes for us and I die in battle, I'm going to Valhalla, so we're good.
Yeah. You're a Viking?
Sure.
Okay. I work with some people that actually think that they're actual Vikings and stuff like that.
Go on.
I don't listen to they're nonsense. I don't really have anything else to go on with stuff like that. You know,
Oh,
people think that they're actually going to go to Valhalla if they die in their battles and stuff like that.
what battles are they fighting in Middle America?
No idea. No idea.
They're gonna, die at the hands of fucking homeless person who's bumming for change outside of a Walmart.
That might be. I mean, we are pretty close to. I am pretty close to DC, Baltimore. Unfortunately,
So, yeah, you'd actually be surprised with the homeless population of Anchorage, Alaska.
isn't it? I heard it was really high, actually, and I heard it's a really high deaf community too. There's a lot of deaf people, hearing impaired.
That one I didn't know. I don't talk to a lot of deaf people. Although my project site is at the end of a runway, so I do go deaf every 20 minutes.
Yeah. I just actually took my annual hearing exam, a couple of weeks ago, and at least I'm consistent year by year because it shows you on the graph. So it goes straight across and then it dip down, and then so there's an obvious sign of hearing loss. Plus, I have the tinnitus that goes on all the time too, the ringing.
I don't.
You don't? You are lucky, sir.
I don't have tinnitus. I had it for I'd say the first couple of years that I got out, and then it just kind of went away.
Really?
It was just I didn't realize it for a while, and I'm just my ears haven't rang in a while. I'm just
that's insane.
Huh?
Because I get the ringing, but also sometimes I get a wave of it where everything sounds muffled, and it the ringing gets it almost comes to a crescendo and then goes away again. Sometimes it gets louder.
I've had one or two random spikes where it's just what the fuck was that? But they're quick, 2 or 3 seconds, and then that's it. And then it'll be months or years. I couldn't tell you there's a regular pattern to it, but it's just that was odd. It's almost like someone puts a tuning fork right next to your ear, smacks it with a wrench really hard, and then puts it against their leg or something to kill off the sound. It's just fast and done, and then it's just
well, that's pretty lucky for you. Considering the loud music, the choice of occupations, nothing was really going in your favors for it.
No. I mean, I feel incredibly lucky on that front. I'm still convinced it's not a question of if, but when I get cancer, though. It's okay, which one and when? That's my feeling on that one, though. I'm all right, I might not have tinnitus, but cancer is coming.
I think so, too. I mean, I've just worked with all of the bad stuff, all the bad industries that you're not supposed to, breathe in and stuff like that. Truck brakes where they say asbestos-free, that just means that there's less than 10% of asbestos in there. There's still asbestos in that dust. And I never wet down everything before I did that stuff, And I worked in the Midwest in the Salt Belt, Everything was rusted and hard to get off, and heat torch and sledgehammers to knock everything out, and that kicks it up into the air and you breathe it. You feel it on your tongue. Whenever you got that weird feeling on your tongue, painting poly paint and stuff like that, you're that's some infectious stuff I just, some neurotoxins I just, ingested.
So, what is it? PD 680, dry cleaning solvent.
Yeah.
So, they changed the formula a little bit before we got in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff that they changed it from is the stuff called TCE, trichloroethylene, which is a really good dry cleaning solvent. Because this was like the majority of PD 680. It was just kind of cut with other stuff, like, the acetone and whatever. But, like, if you're wearing nitrile gloves in PD 680, the new stuff that we had, your nitrile gloves would last maybe 20, 30 seconds. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, so when you're cleaning off the wheel bearings, like, it's just like, well, these gloves are done now. And then you're just like, I can't get more gloves, so using my hand.
Yep, I just did straight hands.
Yep. So, well, the stuff that I majority clean out of the soil and groundwater is TCE.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I'm very safe from it. It's below grade. It stays contained and piping as it's moving through our system and all that stuff. Because we heat up the ground and suck it out as a steam and burn it off or run it through carbon. It's very, like, I have like a PID monitor for like checking everywhere I am. Yeah, so like I know I'm safe, but I'm just like, holy shit, like I worked with this stuff. Like, what the fuck? Like, reading about it now and like working on it and shit, I'm like, holy fuck. But yeah, like that stuff was used for everything, like cleaning rifles, solvent, aircraft stuff, like everything. I was just like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gnarly. And then you start learning about the stuff that's in AFFF. It's like, oh, fuck. And like that stuff, PFOAs and PFASs, polyfluorinated alkaline something. I should really know it because we clean them out of fire trucks too. But that shit is in everything. Teflon, popcorn bags, like literally fucking everything. Like the amount of things that stuff is on, like you just go, oh, holy fuck. And then you start looking at like what it does and you're like, how long it's been around for. And you're like, oh, that's what's wrong with society.
Yeah. The whole world, everything is poisoned. Every friggin' thing is poisoned.
But it's not TikTok or all these other things. It's these chemicals you made.
It's all the microplastic in your balls.
Yeah, I mean, and this is one of them. And it doesn't degrade forever.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, it does if you get it to 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. I think 1,500 Fahrenheit will like make it break the chemical bonds.
Oh, okay. Get your body up to that temperature and then it's no longer there anymore.
Yeah, just work out really good.
Yeah, I don't know how many isocyanates I have because I was a painter too. I've been to I did the paint school and then I had the certificate. And then when I got this job here, they weren't sending people to school. So if you already had it, guess what? You're going to start painting. I don't ever know how many isocyanates I had. They never told me. You go and do that test and they take your blood, but they never tell you what your limit is. They don't tell you where you're at. I asked for it. I've asked for it, but they just keep on saying you're good. It's like either a go or no go gauge. Can I have like how many?
It's a lot of those things. It's not like a limit or anything like that. It's a tracking so they can see if you're picking it up because then they're liable.
Well, I didn't want to shave ever again. So I didn't want to paint anymore. And there's some people that came in behind me, so they can paint now. Don't have a respirator anymore.
Good plan.
I don't deal with that.
Good way to do it.
What's that?
I said that's a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I approve of that method. Like, oh, you want to paint? Cool, good for you. Go do it.
Yeah. Don't even care. Like, be like, oh yeah, I could do that so much better, or that prep work, or this, that, the others. Whatever. That's your work. That's your pride. You put yourself into it.
I wouldn't say that. I'd be like, man, you're doing a great job. You're doing excellent stuff. Depending on, how they feel about
you're doing the Lord's work,
or you're doing the Lord's work. you're doing great stuff. Like, just keep it up. Like, man, that is so good. That's like, oh man, I could see myself in that mirror finish. Like, God, you're fantastic. Just, I would give the best verbal blowjob about that. They would be like, I never want to stop painting after I'm done talking.
You're just going to replay that in the morning as their morning affirmations
so
every day.
That's how I should make some money. Just be like daily affirmations for people. Like, you are the best aircraft blade painter. Every time you paint, it comes out so mirror finished. The feathering on your sandpaper jobs is so good. People can't tell where the original started. The new paint begins. Your Modexes are so clean. People come from bases all around to admire it. Like, oh, I could do that.
But in reality, everybody is a critic on every single thing that's ever painted, ever, on an airplane.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's the worst critic on everything that's ever been painted. So,
unless it's the like actual artist aircraft tales that I see randomly in like the community Facebook.
Yeah.
Like,
no, people talk shit about the ones that the dudes did for our flagship and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah. They talk shit about it, talk shit about the tape lines, everything. Doesn't matter what you paint, people are going to talk shit about it. But I just work with a bunch of fucking naysayers. A bunch of like, just.
I'd say you're in like a negative place. Would you like to come join the Cult of Joy?
That's a pretty good pitch. Do you not have enough joy in your life?
We are on. Do you not have enough joy in your life? Like, do you need more flowers? I'm growing my own garden of hot peppers, tomatoes, and a few other things, potatoes and onions. We're on a strict diet of steak and charcuterie.
That sounds decent.
And the salmon I just caught. It's fucking fantastic.
I'm on the strict diet of the Wawa Hoagie Fest.
There's nothing wrong.
Currently taking place.
What's the Hoagie Fest song
Yeah.
this year?
What's
the Hoagie Fest song this year?
Oh, I don't know.
You should find it. Make your own version of it. Because, I mean, in the background, I can see minimum of 2 guitars.
Yeah.
Behind your right shoulder. Right there. And, yeah. I think you could do a great version of it. Put that out. Make it become viral. I don't know how we're going to do that. I'll send it to 3 people. They'll send it to 3 people. We'll send it to 3 people. And and then you'll have your own Hoagie Fest song version. Next thing you know, they're going to be like knocking at your door. They're going to be like, Jonny Iuro? I'm like, are you the fucking cops? They're like, no, we're Wawa. Cease and desist.
Yeah, probably. That's probably the...
But that's when you're like, I refuse to cease.
Be like, we don't want our sandwiches associated with you.
Well, that's when you get to play this card. Be like, fine, I'll cease and desist. I want free hoagies for life.
Please and thank you.
I see no way that this can go wrong unless they go, listen, we love what you're doing. Can you do another one? And you're like, yes, please pay me in hoagies. Either way, you're getting free hoagies.
Yeah. Well, my girlfriend worked at Wawa for a little while, so I was getting the hoagie hookup sometimes, or discounted hoagies, not free hoagies. But you can get hoagied out pretty quickly. There's a...
Hoagie hookup is a good name for a band. Good evening, Maryland. We are Jonny Iuro and the Hoagie Hookup.
What?
Welcome to Hoagie Fest.
I mean, they do like outdoor concerts and shit. Yeah. What would be my genre?
Folk metal. Trying to get you to spit your coffee.
Folk metal. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like Fin Troll, but you're not dressed stupid.
I mean, I should hook up my my banjo into some of my like my death metal pedals or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
See what that would sound like.
Do it.
I actually never done that. That's actually a pretty good idea.
Hell yeah. Now we're thinking. Have you ever heard Panopticon?
No.
All right, so he's a one-man black metal dude. Like, he plays all the instruments like track by track by
Mm-hmm.
track at a time, like that style, like Norwegian
Okay.
black metal style. Like, it's gotten a lot more calm over the years. So he's originally from, I forget where, I think it's Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
No, it's somewhere in Kentucky. I think he's Louisville. But he incorporates like a lot of banjo and like traditional like folk stuff into his music. So like there's tons of like acoustic guitar sections like interspersed throughout this like, the crazy fucking metal that I like.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to play that kind of stuff. Being a metal
And
guitar
it's
player,
so fucking
it's
cool.
fun to play. Like that's why I have banjos and a mandolin. I have a mandocello. That's like a mandolin the size of a cello. So it's a bass instrument that's like stringed like a violin and shit,
Fuck yeah.
So I have like these folk instruments that are fun to play around with and stuff like that. But I end up doing metal riffs on them.
Have you heard bardcore?
Barkcore?
Bard, B-A-R-D.
No, bardcore.
Bardcore is fucking fantastic. So it's like medieval Renaissance style, like music and instruments.
Oh, like lute and stuff.
Yes, but they're covering like normal like new style music.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one guy that I've been listening to on Spotify, Beedle, Beedle, I think it is, the Bardcore, and like he's covering like early 2000s rap, like 50 Cent and Eminem. So like 50 Cent's Candy Shop, like medieval Renaissance style. And it is hypnotizing and fantastic. It's like, fuck, this is good. So it's like a lot of it is like rap. Like he's a couple like rap albums. There's a few like rock stuff, but it's all like the more popular stuff. Like, so you're not going to hear like Metallica or Van Halen and shit like that.
Because everybody does that kind of stuff, on YouTube. They'll do like all that, So they got to do the deep cuts, the things that set them apart. Because everyone's heard how many renditions of,
Freebird.
Yeah, pretty much.
I did see Ricky Thrash on Instagram play the Freebird solo on a bass, and it sounded amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, God damn you, Ricky Thrash, you're doing such a great job.
So whenever someone would yell out Freebird to me, I would only give them 2 bars, and then I would just stop and just like put my hands down, like edging, like no, you don't get to finish. Yeah, Freebird edging.
Hold on, the cleanly's trying to come in.
Not now, I'm good. Okay.
All right, we're good.
Yeah, well, you were talking about like medieval covers and stuff like that. I've seen this one chick on like the hurdy-gurdy play a bunch of cool songs on YouTube.
Oh, I think I might have seen something similar.
I thought that thing was pretty cool sounding. Like, I didn't know what that was. Like, I hear hurdy-gurdy, I think of the stupid like drill that we use in airframes sometimes because of the no spark, no air tool. You got to do that kind of thing. I was like, oh, that's what that thing's actually named after. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat.
Why can't we use drill or air tools? Like, why do you have to use that stupid hurdy-gurdy? Like, what is that whole, like, no spark thing? Like, the aircraft is carbon fiber. The drill is metal.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed carbon fiber and metal does not induce a fucking spark. Like, I can understand.
Yeah, especially if there's not even an open flame source or open, like there's no open fuel cell or anything else going on because there's no concurrent fuel maintenance that could happen. That would, because that's not allowed. So it doesn't make sense that, like inside fuel cell maintenance and no sparking lights and stuff like that, everything in case, that makes sense. But on the outside of the airplane and stuff like that, no spark drills, and that doesn't make any freaking sense to me. Never has.
Like, I understand, like, back in the day, with the electric drills that had the brushes in them, and like now all the drills
that smelled amazing whenever you used them.
You could see the arc and the ozone being made, and you're like,
yeah, I love it.
But now all the drills are, lithium and brushless, and like,
yeah,
if it's throwing a spark, that means you need to get rid of it.
Yeah,
like this drill is broke. We need a new one.
Mm-hmm.
But even like an air drill, it's like all it's throwing is air.
Well, it's also because maybe the ACU is broken or something else like that, where you're forced to like use a hurdy-gurdy. Mm-hmm. Like maybe because there's no SC, it's not there or it's broken or something like that. You don't have the license, or just as someone's just being a dick,
Who doesn't have a license for a turtleback? That's like day one. We're like, hey, go get a turtleback license.
You'd be surprised. You used to be surprised about how people don't want to get qualifications anymore, even when you're a civilian, now.
You don't want to get qualified for your job?
I know. It's the dumbest thing. It's the dumbest thing. Like, people don't understand. Like, I don't want to go in a job and be like, oh, I don't have any qualifications and I'm stupid. Why would you want to? That's an interesting way to go through life, my friends. I don't want to do any part of that.
First off, never admit you're stupid, especially not to your job, because then they're just, let's get rid of them. We need to cut costs. Hey, we can save $60,000 a year in payment and $40,000 a year in insurance costs by getting rid of the stupid guy. There's $100,000 we're saving.
No, I'm in a union, so there's protection.
Oh,
thanks, Jimmy Carter. Starting unions.
I haven't heard that one in a while. Thanks a lot, Jimmy Carter. Is that the original "Thanks a lot, Obama"?
Probably.
It's a lot, Jimmy Carter. Fucking peanut farmer.
Yeah, but post-military. Like, so when I was in the military, though, too, I did the night crew license thing for a while, Like, I had the qualification for everything, but I didn't, Until someone said that's not really a thing. You have to go take all the tests. So I was rolling with the night crew license for way too long. I was doing that way too long.
Is that when you picked up your CDI stamp?
Yeah.
I did that for a while too with my paint qual. They're like, Steve, you're paint qual, right? I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I know how to paint.
Yeah. Well, because someone taught me how to do it.
And then someone came along, they're like, you don't have a paint qual. I'm like, I know. How have you been painting? With the paint gun. What do you mean? How have I?
I was in a shop with other, competent people and taught me really what to do, because that's all the paint school really is.
And then after that, it's, I think like 1% of 1% of it is, here's how much paint you're allowed to use in a day in North Carolina. That's like the other thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, wait, I'm allowed to use like 1 or 3 ounces or something like stupidly low, where it's just like, yeah, that's not happening, especially for painting blades.
Yeah. Then they made a pretty decent paint booth, paint hanger in North Carolina. I don't think you got to see the likes of that thing.
I saw there was a paint hanger when I was in.
Okay, so that's one I used. And
there was the one down at the L
yes.
of the flight line, like right down here.
Across from Mal's.
So you're looking out. 6. Basically, if you look out the hangar doors, like towards the rest of the flight line, it was like straight down.
Yes. From the 204 hangar that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I saw the videos of it getting torn down.
Every place we lived no longer exists.
On one hand, like
gone. 4010 gone. 4020
I know,
gone.
Barracks 4020 is gone.
Even our neighbors, the 4025 gone.
That doesn't surprise me also, because the 20 and 25 were probably built at the same time. They're the exact same pattern.
Yeah.
Yep.
The swastika from space.
I
with the
know.
4 courtyards.
That. It was so great having that courtyard there with my room overlooking the air conditioner for the entire
Oh,
building.
yeah. I remember where your room was. Second deck too, right?
This is the best way to explain it. But it was pretty cool. Well, that was just one of my rooms.
Yeah, that side
Yeah,
room.
second deck. I originally was on first deck on a corner overlooking like that road where that side road, like right next to the parking lot. I was right on that corner one. Me and Ozcan when we first went there. Yeah,
Yep.
that was my first room. Then I had my own room for a while on second deck.
Mm-hmm.
Then we started getting a bunch of weird new kids, and I didn't want to live with some fucking new kid from Avi. So I looked at Stumba and I'm like, "Hey, dude, you're not weird. I'm not weird, and let's be not weird together." And we were both weird, actually. Just we thought we weren't weird, and then we were super weird together. Why be normal weird when you can be mega weird? Get a best friend in the Marine Corps and live with them.
So yeah, I knew where you and Stumball lived there in 4020 there on second deck. I actually ended at the third deck on the corner where you were in the first deck. I was on third deck. That's where I ended up.
Wasn't that where Babcock and Coburn were?
Coburn. I don't remember where they were.
I want to say they were somewhere around there.
They were close, but I remember Coburn being on second deck for a while too. I've been on I was in four different rooms in 4020.
I was only in 3, and then I moved out.
Because they forced me out. They forced me to get BAH.
That doesn't sound like a bad thing.
Yeah, but then I went on deployment and we rented a house. So I was still paying for BAH instead of being in the barracks and just having all my stuff in storage, I had to pay for, me and 2 other people had to pay for a house that wasn't getting occupied for 9 months. Because that's how long I was deployed, was 9 months.
It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, very fucking stupid. Like I only had BAH for 3 months before I was deployed.
That is the most Marine Corps statement I've ever heard. Hey, we're going to force you out of the barracks. Make you play BAH.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that sounds like the Marine Corps in a nutshell.
Nothing surprises.
Like, hey, explain the Marine Corps to me. Be like, okay, well, here, let me explain how payment works on dumb shit.
We still got people that are like reservists and stuff like that. So we still get to hear all like the dumbness of like people that are doing their weekend warrior stuff. How dumb the military still is.
I don't think it'll ever improve.
No.
It'll just like change with the times, and it'll just be like, oh yes, I know of the stupidity you speak of.
That's one thing you can have in camaraderie with anybody at different times or different branches. Is just you have to do some stupid stuff. Move sandbags 15 feet wide. Does it look like I know? All those dumb little instances. Yeah.
Because it's a better spot over here. All right, now move them back.
Sergeant Major wants that hole dug 15 feet west. Yeah, they must know because they just been here longer. No idea what their IQ is or the type of person they are. They're just there longer. Yeah, and it's funny too, like some of the people that were like in charge of you and stuff like that were the same people. I
don't know what happened. My shit just glitched out.
Yeah, I got 2 screens. Oh. We're back to single ones.
You good? You can see me though?
I can see you, yeah. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. No, it just like went, something happened and like the screen just went blank, like I lost internet service. I'm like, what the fuck?
I wasn't in anything important.
You were talking about filling sandbags for sergeant majors.
Just dumb stuff that you had to do for the military. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that's life of it. And that's probably why I started like losing my motivation, where I'm just like, this is dumb. I thought this was supposed to be a good place. I thought this was a safe space.
Well, I kept my motivation. But like, I did myself bad, you know. I had like, I was like duty section leader and class leader at the same time, but I got busted underage drinking. But I picked pain over punishment, so I had like shitty pros and cons and stuff like that. And I always got in trouble. Like I was always like a leader somewhere, but I always got in trouble, like under student status. And then that kind of like turned like my motivation down. But I would get people ready for like boards and stuff. I was even non-rec before, you know. So, but I got other people promoted meritoriously by knowing all the, you know, brainwash stuff, you know, all the knowledge and how to go through boards and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably a good thing.
I still ask people that kind of stuff too. It's kind of funny being around a bunch of, you know, prior service members and stuff like that. Be like someone that left to be like, what is your third general order? You know,
dude, I didn't even know that when I was in.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, good thing I never had to go to one of those. I don't know any of my fucking general orders. Like, I pretty much forgot them immediately after boot camp. I'm like,
but like, just say,
oh, I don't know these anymore.
Or you could just say, like, the answer, Alpha May Johnson, 1918, for everything.
Tun Tavern, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1775, November 10th.
Yep. There you go.
That's the only one you really need to know. Dan Daly and Smedley Butler. That's the other.
I was going to say, you didn't do the Dan Daly Smedley Butler either.
Dan Daly, Smedley Butler. That one's very important. Yeah. And then the grand old man of the Marine Corps, Archibald Henderson. They'd always get you with that one. But that one's kind of a freebie because you shouldn't expect that one.
Or the 13th Commandant. Lejeune.
John, yeah, I was going to say, that should be John Lejeune. Creator of the MCI and the Marine Corps Ball.
Yep. See, look at you. After all of them years, 16 years later, you still got it.
Still got it, you little whippersnappers. You want to know the sad part? I actually run more now than I did when I was.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, were you on the 6 mile club, like the twice a year?
6 Mile Marine.
Yeah.
I was a 6 Mile Marine. Like, oh, really? You could run 6 miles? No, I ran 6 miles a year.
2 PFTs. That's it.
Yes, I can run 6 miles. I do 3 miles at a time, twice a year. Told that to a guy I befriended online, and he was just like, what the fuck? I'm like, air wings the shit.
I mean, sometimes your life sucks, you know? Sometimes, especially night crew, lots of work to do.
I mean, okay, it sucks, but like you talk to somebody who was like actually on Lejeune or Pendleton and like doing ground side shit, and you're just like, man,
Well, I'm glad I scored higher than a 34 on the ASVAB.
Some people also did it because that's what they wanted to do. Like,
yeah, I actually work with somebody that's actually really smart, and he joined, you know, infantry because he wanted to hurt people. And then he moved.
Or do anything like on the whole entire ground side spectrum. Like some people are like, no, I'm like really into this. And you're just like, oh shit.
It's crazy.
Like, you know how it gets. Like, we've worked with the people who are autistically into aircraft.
Yeah.
And they're just like I went through a school in Pensacola with somebody like that, where I'm just like, why do you know about this? And like things that I would have thought it would have been like esoteric bits of metalworking for an 18-year-old. And I'm like, why do you know about like aluminum stuff? Like, I barely even know like the theory behind welding, and like I know how to do
Yeah.
woodworking. And then he just started explaining things in woodworking terms to me. And I'm like, this has made more sense to me than anything
Yeah.
the instructors have ever fucking said. But I'm just like, why do you know all this? He's just like, I'm just really into it. And like, it was his dream to be a fucking airframes and an airframes mechanic on aircraft. And I'm just like, what the hell? I have never thought of anything like where I'm just like, I want to know it that bad. And I know my life's passion where it's just like that. I'm just like, I want to be cool.
Yeah, I don't even know what I want to do when I grow up yet.
I want to have a podcast.
I would do metal banjo covers.
I want to have metal banjo podcast. Make me a metal banjo Hoagie Fest song for my intro music, and like, yeah, we'll fucking start there.
Yeah, you'll get that hoagie hookup.
I'm telling you, Hoagie Hookup's a good name for a band. Like, you could be sitting on at least 3750, 4790 if you play your cards right.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
What I did there. No. Finally, I got to use that joke in a useful setting where somebody understands it. Where I'm just like, yeah, for you, the price will be $47.90. I was just like, very odd price.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I know that joke all too well. I referenced that joke. I referenced that joke yesterday.
Why would you pick the number $47.90 for a price? Because it's written in blood.
It is. We're on 0.2 Delta now.
That sounds serious.
Yeah.
Like, that's super serial.
No, is it Delta or Charlie? Shit, I'm bad QA. I don't even know. No, whatever we're on, it's a change. It's a change, though. What's that?
Listen, if there's one thing I learned from my time as a CDI, it's you don't have to memorize everything. You just have to memorize where it is.
Yeah, I know where all I am. That's actually what I'm good at, is looking everything up, unfortunately. Trying to find something in a ped. I was like, oh, why am I good at this? Damn it. I hate being good at finding stuff in the ped.
Do they still use those weird, like, laptop thingies?
They've actually become smaller and dumber. Like, the OG ones that we had, like this, like the same color as, like, 870. Like, you knew what...
Yeah, like the tough book looking-ish things.
Those were like the darker gray tough books. Those were the better ones. And then we had like the lighter gray tough books in between, and now we have like these really thin like ones that are almost like a tablet where you can remove the screen. But of course, we're not going to remove the screen. So we locked all those things and, packed everything that has a screw hole up with glue so it never comes out again, and remove all the stylus. So all like the features of it, you don't even use, and it's actually a smaller screen, and I hate them. I hate them. I like the old school tough books that first gen that we had, that had the pinball. What's up?
They weren't bad.
Yeah, I like the first gen ones.
Like, they might have been a bit wieldy and felt like you could have used it as a bludgeoning device, which is also pretty Marine Corps. Actually, think about it. That's the most Marine Corps thing I've ever heard. Yeah, I had to kill a terrorist with a ped. They got onto the flight line, I bludgeoned them.
But all the side covers always stayed on those ones. Those ones weren't broken. Like the second and third generations of them after that were just like of subpar quality. So we were spoiled with the OG tough book peds.
I like thinking I was spoiled. Thank you. That strokes my ego very well.
I'm telling you, as somebody that is still in aviation, that you were spoiled with your ped.
Fantastic.
And spoiled with a better mentality, because these people that are coming out now, so friggin' entitled. Oh my God, I get in trouble because I'm too toxic to work with. If you're stupid, you're stupid. What are you doing? What are you doing, stupid?
I mean, are you still allowed to sexually harass the new guys?
Unfortunately not. Nobody has a sense of humor anymore. Or their sense of humor is dumb.
What is this world coming to? If I can't sexually harass the new guys and tell them that they have purty lips and, you know, all the other things, and, you know, maybe just compliment them very nice to start off with, like, you know, like, you have very nice broad shoulders. Are they natural? Like, if I can't start there, what is the world coming to?
Yeah, you cannot with this. I know you work in a shop, you work with shop people and stuff like that. This is a new, the new crew of people coming in, youngsters coming into the shop, just can't handle shop life. The culture is changing.
You know, that's a good hashtag. Yeah. Hashtag shop life.
The culture is unfortunately changing. And dinosaurs, you know, OGs like me and you, we're a dying breed. Too weird to live, too rare to die.
I don't know if that's true, because I work with this younger kid, a welder. He's probably 25-ish, I want to say. Maybe a little younger, maybe a little younger. Somewhere in the 25-year-old range. He's a welder. Lives out in Montana. He's originally from Chicago. But he was telling me about the places the welding shops he's been in. I'm like, that sounds like a great place to work. Just like the antics and the people and the stories. I'm like, I don't even care what you're doing. I want to work there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure with the welding. Yeah, I'm sure with welders and stuff like that, and people that chose to go into that field and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's because, like, it's like a room full of people, and there's old timers. Like, you know, not us. Like, we would be like the middle time. Yeah. But like old timers who are getting ready to time out and like have all the knowledge of the fucking job.
Yeah,
and then, like, you know, it like trickles down, and it starts with like, and they have like the funnest way of fucking with you too. Like, they know all the tricks. There's like all sorts of like weird old school things that you wouldn't even fucking think of. And it's just like, my God, that would like the stuff that would happen to you would be like borderline cruel, but also simultaneously absolutely fucking hilarious. And at the same time, you're like, I learned something amazing here.
When I worked on trucks, there was a couple of old timers there. There were like 3 people that were old there that I listened to. And, but they didn't fuck with me though, because I think they were afraid of me because I was pretty new out of the military and still a hothead and stuff like that. I'm probably afraid of they probably didn't know if my tattoos were military or prison at that time either. Yes.
That's amazing.
Because I don't know, how was it after you got out to transition to civilian life?
So, I mean,
it was a little rough for me.
Mine was not horrible. So, like, I pretty fast went to Kentucky for 3 months, and I was working in an Army hangar, but I was, you know, basically it was a phase shop of civilians for the 47. So, like, you know, a lot of times I was just sitting there waiting for a bird, and then we'd like get a phase, and so we'd phase the bird pretty fast, and maybe like once or twice they're like, well, can you guys wash the bird, because it's time to wash this bird, but, you know, we don't have people to do it. So we'd wash the bird, and, you know, we're just like, okay, whatever. Like, I sat around a lot, but like, yeah, I just didn't want to do it, because like when I was doing maintenance, I'm like, I don't understand like how these guys, like, that was one of the bigger things, was like the write-ups when you're done. I'm like, okay, so I'm just like changing the number, because like if you look at the easiest one to remember is the 509, the corrosion manual.
Yeah, 509.
Yeah, and it's like the same manual for Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, but there's like a different number at the bottom for them. So like if you look where it says like 011 Alpha 509 for that, like the numbers above and below it are like the technical manuals for the Army and them. And like, you know, it's the same manual, so I'm like writing it up, but I'm like looking up like the different manual name for like, you know, airframe shit, because for them I was doing straight airframe stuff. I'm like a little bit of painting because they found out that I could paint, so they're like, we'll let you paint. That was pretty cool. But like then like write-ups, they're like, no, you're not writing like it upright. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm not writing it upright? Like, because I'm like, it's done in accordance with like this manual, and like this is the work I did. And it was the part where it's just like the part where you're writing what you actually did, they told me wasn't right. I'm like, what? Like, we like to see it like this. And I'm just like, so it was like a weird like inner service, like how you write up like what you did, but not like the manual part where I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Couldn't wrap my head around it. So that was one of the things I didn't like. Didn't like the amount of people in the area, and I'm like, and it's only going to get worse. What am I going to do? Might as well go. So I went home. I tried college. I went for chemistry, which was a mistake because theoretically, I can understand all the theories that you're trying to tell me for science. Well, there's a lot of math to do. I am absolutely dog shit at math. So I like to tell people, well, I drank myself out of college because I couldn't keep up with the math. But the real truth is, like, I was just drinking and I couldn't keep up with the math.
It was just a convenient excuse. Yeah.
But I was getting the GI Bill and living in a college town, so drinks were cheap. It didn't help. Yeah. And so then, like, I was working at as a security guard at a cookie factory. That was pretty chill, but it didn't pay nice. But it was pretty cool while I was, you know, in college, because I could just read books.
Yeah.
Never read more books in my life than when I was working there. Literally just read books, because who's trying to break into a cookie factory?
Fat people?
No one. They were too lazy. They were too fat.
You got to be the perfect kind of fat like me that's really in a cookie hunger.
Yeah. Well, the thing that they don't tell you about cookie factories is if you go to the front office, they have all the broken cookies in bags and they give them away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've worked on forklifts at a bunch of places. All the things that are, you know, broken, falling off, you know, Dean ice cream, I would get candy bars and stuff like that. Fryer pan candy, would get fresh lemon heads, you know, lemon head candies and stuff like that. So working on forklifts, you got to hook up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so then after that, like Ryan started at this company that I'm still at. And this was in 2010. He's like, this is actually pretty fun. You should come do it. Give me your resume. So I gave him my resume, and they're like, we're looking for another young kid to abuse who's mechanically sound. And then I just kept getting fired for all the dumb shit that I've done. And I'm like, well, okay. And now I've like been here for 14 years and like I know a lot. And they're just like, yeah, you actually paid off. And I'm just like, cool. Thanks for not firing me all the times you should have. And they should have. There was more than one occasion where it was definitely warranted, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to get fired.
Yeah.
Then they're like, this is your last warning. I'm like, that's what you said 2 warnings ago.
But sometimes work and reputation precedes you in a good way.
Yeah. I've had a lot of my managers go to bat for me. They're like, listen, he literally couldn't have known this given his background. Like there's like a few things like that where it's like he literally couldn't have known this given his background. He's a good worker. He's smart. He'll learn from this and he won't do it again. We swear. And like I haven't for them. Just like, all right, cool. Thanks for going to bat for me. I swear that will never happen again. Like, so being smart and a good worker does pay off a lot. Also, another big thing is making sure your timesheets are in on time.
Yeah, I've never had that problem.
Neither have I. I like getting paid.
Yeah.
I also like not pissing off admin.
Yeah.
Which is a very underrated thing that a lot of people don't understand. Do the small things and the little things will fall into place.
That is very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't make life harder than it needs to be.
And another lesson I learned as I got older, use anger as a tool for your advantage. Don't be a hothead all the time. Try to stay in control.
If it's your default setting, people will just ignore you. But if you actually talk at a normal, quiet voice and you force them to listen to you, they actually will listen to you because they're being forced to actually engage their mind to you. Then when you are actually mad, they're like, oh shit, this isn't good.
That's why, you use it as a tool. Yep. Exactly.
No, I totally get that. I understand it too. Yeah, growing old is interesting because then you're like, I'm starting to understand life.
I'm embarrassed at every single prior version of myself, Like me at 39 embarrassed about the 38-year-old and the 38-year-old embarrassed about the 37 and so on, But I think that's a good thing. That means that I'm improving.
That is true. So how do you like new and improved Jonny version 5.0?
the best version?
Yeah, Jonny 5. He's my favorite one so far.
Jonny 5 is alive.
Well, hey, at least you're not Jonny version 5.0 beast. That was good. I missed your face.
Miss your face. You can't even see my face, though. You look the same.
Yeah, I can. I can see your face right now.
You can see the...
You got the eyebrows right here. You got the mustache here. You got the little bit of gray coming through. It's like you use Just for Men with touch of gray to look distinguished. Let people know that you're new shit.
Oh, yeah, and then the hair is gray underneath. Like, if I put my hair up, it's all gray, so down it's brown.
I can't really tell the gray in the hair up here because, like, it's, like, a really light brown, but, like, I got a good patch of it right here if I actually let it come out longer than 3 millimeters. And I have 4 out of the 16 chest hairs that I have are gray. That's a lot. I have more than 16, but it's not a lot.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm smooth. Like, I'm naturally hairless. I don't have any hair on my arms, chest, anything.
I mean, I have very little. I have the hair, but it's like very faint. You can maybe kind of see it in that sunlight there.
Yeah, well, so weird. Like, I barely have anything. Legs are smooth and everything else like that, too. So I guess I'm not a man because I don't have hair on my butt.
You need to drink some scotch. It'll put some hair on your chest. I tell you what.
No, it doesn't. So,
I'm pretty sure it's...
Tell everyone else, like, it's like, this is like a falsehood because I'm like a dolphin everywhere else.
So you really missed your calling as convincing everyone you were Michael Phelps' son then.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know how Michael Phelps had sex with a dolphin and they had a kid? I'm the kid.
Yeah. With zero.
Look at me.
With 0 of his talent. Well, I got pretty wide feet.
Don't bring that part. Don't bring that part up because, I mean, you do have to be able to swim to get in the Marine Corps. So, like, it could be believable. Like, no, I just wanted to be a warrior. I wanted to show Dad how proud he could be of me, and I wanted to be a warrior. I joined the Marine Corps.
No, I'm
a warrior.
actually a decent swimmer. I shouldn't have been a good swimmer in boot camp. I should have just stopped at 3 and not kept on going. But
yeah, here's the thing, though.
yeah, I have wide feet, so I got some paddles, so I can swim pretty decent.
I have small feet for my size. My girlfriend can wear my shoes.
Really?
Yeah.
So you got like the same size? Like if it's like a 13 in a woman's, then it's 11 in men's kind of thing?
Yeah. Except I wear 9s.
9s, so she wears like women's 11s or something?
No, I think it's also a women's 9. I think that's the weird part, is that the number's really close.
Like the numbers are close, yeah.
Yeah, but her feet are thinner than mine.
Yeah.
Because, like, we've had a conversation about, like, running shoes, and she's like, yeah, like, I like this brand and, like, that and whatever. And I'm like, I don't like them. They're too thin. She's like, really? Like, what do you like? And I'm like, like Asics, and what are the other ones that I like? What's something else? She's like, oh, those ones are too wide. I'm like, so my feet are wider. Yeah. Man feet. What now?
I'm actually in the wide category. I have to get the actual wide one, so I'm pretty narrow whenever it comes to, and it's a half size. It's 10.5 wide. So to find a shoe for me, it's literally a Cinderella kind of thing.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun, though.
It is terrible. Every single thing. Every single
yeah,
time
but you can make it into an adventure. You're like, I'm going on an adventure.
Once I find a company that actually has it, then I'm married to them, So you said Asics. Asics, I do get wide Asics. Under Armour, another brand I get. And like for like steel toes, I have to go with Irish Setter or Red Wing or Caterpillar. And that's pretty much it.
I believe Irish Setter is owned by Red Wing.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
So I go with both of those. Also Carhartt. Some Carhartt boots are half size and wide, and they actually fit me.
I like Danner, and I forget who they're owned by now. I think it's Wolverine.
The Wolverine 1000 Mile might own Danner. That might make sense. Because it's not Thurgood.
No. I'm not sure. But I like Danners. They fit me well.
You like Danners? Yeah, I've tried them. Didn't fit me too well, unfortunately. And I went with like a 6-inch boot.
You know what you should try? 6-inch boot knife.
I do have... I'm like a few feet away from a 6-inch boot knife.
Oh. I'm like a foot away from some Cholula hot sauce. Cholula, not a sponsor of this podcast, because I have none. But they're
maybe
owned
one
by
day.
McCormick, who also owns Frank's Red Hot. Frank's Red Hot, also not a sponsor of this podcast. Neither is Wawa Hoagie Fest, and we've probably said that the most.
Yeah. Well, it's because also whenever I worked, like I've worked the mid-check, and the only places that are open whenever I'm lazy and didn't make myself food was the Wawa or the Sheets. And
Sheets is great for making jokes about. Sheets.
Yeah. I just wish
Stop at the gas station. I got to take a massive Sheets.
Yeah. It's such a dad joke territory, yeah.
But it's also true a lot of the time if you eat Sheets.
Of course, everything's fried. Everything is fried there.
I know.
Your heart will hurt and your ass will leak.
Did you guys ever clean the fryers? No, we don't have time. We just got to keep making this food for people. Like, that explains so much.
Yeah, it does look black in there. It looks like motor oil in there.
I don't believe you're allowed to say that.
Why is that?
It's 2024.
I was trying to deflect to get you more in trouble. Really? What did I say wrong? Yeah. No, ignorance is always innocence for me. I'm such an ignorant person. I mean well, and I say dumb things. I probably have dug myself. Yeah. The first rule of a hole, once you're in it, stop digging. Not this guy.
Same here.
I'm gonna dig my way out.
First rule of a hole, once you're in it, stop digging. I've never heard that one, but it explains a lot of the problems in my life.
Now I'm just going to keep on doing the same thing and hoping to expect different results.
I'm going to fortify my position.
Yeah.
I thought we were entrenching.
Yeah. Now I'm dug in.
This is a great spot to fight from.
It's my new fighting hole.
You throw a grenade, I got a stump. We're good. Bring your war.
Rounded corners and everything in my interconnecting tunnels.
Explains so much of my life. Oh, shit. My mom's calling. I should probably go. I haven't talked to her in over a week. But hey, man, it was great hearing from you. I just want you to know, Wantland is going to love this one. Pretty sure he's my only
He's in Norway right now or something, right?
Yeah.
It's insane.
I was so impressed. I'm like, dude, that's amazing.
Well, hello, Chase. This one's for you.
How's it going, buddy? This one's for you in Norway, having the time of my life. Actually, it's the time of your life. I'm just mildly jealous because I've always had a thing with Norway.
Mm-hmm.
But I also hear it's super expensive there. So I'm going to have to ask him about that. That'll happen when you're the richest country on earth, though. Per capita. They're the richest per capita, not by something else. America is. Yeah. Yeah, that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
Gross domestic product.
GDP or something like that.
Yeah. Good job. Look at you knowing things. You're so smart in that big brain of yours, Johnny 5.
Some things. Yeah. Well, this is fun. We shall do it again sometime.
Damn right. You know what we should do, because it was really fun. The clip you saw last week, Jason and Leroy, we got to bring in more people. It's more fun with more people. Ooh, can you get
what's
Meyer?
That?
Can you get Crazy Dave Meyer?
Me and him had a little falling out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I won't say what happened here because I don't want him to look bad. You know, I want to be respectful and everything else like that. But I had to walk away from the friendship, unfortunately, and it was a long friendship. But we even lived together while I was here in Maryland, and he was the one that actually called me and got me this job here.
Yeah, no, I've had a few of those.
Maybe I should reach out and maybe try to make amends.
Hey, you never know. Time changes people. So hopefully, I mean, I'm friends with him on Facebook. He looks like he does okay. But also, he also looks like Dave.
Was it what you said is, you know, time changes everything? I thought that, but it didn't, unfortunately.
I guess you can hope it.
Yeah, so I did hope it. Maybe I'll hope again. I have hope.
I mean, what's the worst that happens?
Nothing to me.
If you reach out and your hand gets bit.
Nothing really to me. So
okay. Well, yeah, think about anyone you can find and fucking we'll definitely do it again whenever you want. You know where I am. You got my number. We send memes.
Yes, you are the meme lord.
I've heard that a lot, actually, and I'm like, I'm not that good, am I?
Well, what? you're definitely top notch,
dude.
You're top tier with the memes.
One of my friends that I like grew up parallel to. Like, he lived in a different town, and like we were okay. Like, I knew him through another guy, but he was from another town, another school, and he went in Army Airborne, and like we met up after we both got out, and like we were just like in the same English class in college. I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? I'm like, I just got out and we're doing GI Bills. Like, me too, cool, sweet. And then like we bonded after that. Of all the people, he's like, and I met up with him in person last year because his mom died. He's just like, of all the people that reach out to me, I hear from you more than anyone else. And it's just like sending memes. And then like every other week, how you doing? How's life been? And I'm just like, really? I'm the only one? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's fucking wild. And so I just started deciding I'm going to become that person for as many people as I can physically handle it for. And I hope I'm inspiring people to do that for other people. Because I'd say that's the biggest problem we have, not just like coming from the military, but also like society and like friendship in general, where it's just like you think about someone and that's where it ends. That's it. It's just like, yeah, I thought about him. Well, did you try to reach out to them? No. Why not? They're probably thinking about you too. You waiting for them? Because my brother said it to me once. Because like we hadn't talked in a while, and he sent like a thing, like, and it was months, and like he was on a weird deployment schedule, so I blamed myself or that for it. And he's just like, well, you know, the phone works both ways. And I'm just like, yeah, it does. Fuck. I don't know. Call people when you think about them, or, you know, just try, like, send them a stupid text or whatever. Like, it's really weird because, like, people that we've worked with are like, do you still talk to Ryan? And I'm like, yeah, once a week minimum.
Yeah, I haven't talked to.
It's like, of course we do.
Because there's people like me that don't talk to anybody, you know? It's so crazy. But what you're saying is 100% true.
You can.
100% true.
I know. And I can see it on your face right now. You're like, I feel like I'm being called out, but I'm not trying to.
No. I'm not. I don't. It's not like that. But I'm definitely. Like, I've said that to my parents before. Like, you know, the phone works both ways because I'm the only one that calls them. But when you said that to me, I was just like, oh yeah, you know, I should, you know, because I got off of Facebook like 12 years ago and stuff like that. I can go back on and try to, you know, connect with people. I think people maybe thought that, you know, I disappeared because I didn't have any social media or anything else anymore. No way to get a hold, like no Instagram, no anything.
It's a great way to get a hold of people, but you can also get sucked into some weird spaces on them. So like there's some weird traps, but like if you navigate it, like I know what I'm doing and I know my purpose here, and like you just realize like, oh, that's an ad or that's a stupid thing, like just fucking get away from it. You can do good on it, but you can also get sucked into it. And I mean, both things happen to me. So it really just depends on the person and the personality. But if you have someone's phone number, there's never any harm in going, I miss your face.
Yeah.
And then send them a picture of a middle finger. Yep. Ooh, or you could go really high scale. Go, hey, do you remember when we used to look at the moon together on Night Crew, and then send them a picture of your bare ass?
Yeah, there's some people that are in my mind right now that I need to do that too.
All right. Well, cool. You, sir, have an amazing rest of your day.
You do the same.
I will. Thank you for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you for hosting it. I do appreciate it. I can't wait to do it again.
Remember, no homo.
I love you too. No homo. All right. Sweet. I will text you some memes later.
Joy of joys. I'll let the cult leader know.
Bye-bye.
Later, dude.